Welcome to It's Just Perfume, a Lucky Scent podcast where we talk all things perfume and how it enhances our lives. I'm your host, Steven Guntarski. So today's episode is really exciting for me. It's all about a perfumer. When I first started getting really seriously interested in perfume, this was probably the mid-2000s. And at this point, the spotlight started to turn on the perfumers. Before then, I feel that it was all shrouded in mystery. Most people didn't really know anything about the people behind the scents. And then something like Frédéric Malle coming out with his brand, Édition de Parfum Frédéric Malle, where he would put the name of the perfumer on the bottle and treat them as authors. That was a change. That was pretty interesting. He had portraits of the perfumers wherever they sold these perfumes. Even the name Édition de Parfum is kind of like Édition de Minuit, which is a big publisher in France. At the same time, I read this book by Luca Turin and Tanya Sanchez about perfume, and they talked about specific perfumers and the perfumes that they made, and it was so interesting just to kind of read about the trajectory of these perfumers' careers and trace different patterns in their work over the years. It was almost like following a musician and comparing their early work to their mid-career work. I was fascinated by that. So because of that, and the rise of blogs where people were talking about the actual noses or the perfumers, I have a fascination with perfumers. And we're so lucky at Lucky Scent because we get perfumers coming into town who want to talk to us. So it is a real treat. Today, I'm with Simone Andreoli, the founder of his brand, Simone Andreoli, and also the nose. So welcome.
Ciao, Steven. Hi. Hello, friends from Lucky Scent.
It's so great to have you here in this seat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's an immense pleasure.
I've only met you once before, but we didn't really get to talk so much. So I have a lot of questions for you.
Let's go through it.
Well, just the fact that you've been to LA once before, probably about a year ago, makes me think that you must travel a lot.
A lot, Steven.
Yeah.
I spent almost 2 weeks per month traveling Europe, Italy, and the world. Can you imagine? Actually, I have a home in Carpi. That it's my small little town, like 70,000 inhabitants there. I have a home, and I can't stay at home. I'm always traveling around the world.
So if it's 2 weeks out of the month, pretty much half the year you're on the road.
Right, correct. Correct.
Do you like to travel this much?
A lot. That's one of my greatest passion. And I think it's one of the most beautiful experience that you can do in your life.
Yeah.
That's really something that can enrich yourself as a human being. And the discovery, the exploration of cultures, of countries, of people and places. What a fantabulous affair.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk more about that when we talk about specific perfumes and how they're inspired by different places that you've visited. But I would think that because you're traveling to all these different places, and probably it's your job as the brand founder and ambassador that's making you travel so much, because most perfumers don't travel as much as that. They're pretty much in the lab and they're not going around the world as much as you. But then you have the distinct pleasure of actually meeting the people who wear your fragrances, and you probably get so much feedback from them. Absolutely.
I think traveling is a truly inspiring process, basically, if you don't get out from the lab, you can't get inspired. You need to explore, you need to dive into different places, into different realities, and collect varieties of feelings, of emotions, of experiences. That's what makes you, more aware and more inspired.
Yeah. Now, of course, we're going to talk about places, definitely, and how they're inspiring to you. And with a place, you get the climate, the trees, the flowers, all of that, the geography. But have you ever made a fragrance inspired by a person?
Of course.
Really?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If one day you're gonna come to my lab, you're gonna see that I created more than 3,000 fragrances.
Oh my God.
And they're all codified in my software, in my Perfumer software.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't launch every single fragrance that I create. Some of them are just cherished in a private library. And I created fragrances inspired by my mom and by people that I loved and that have been significant part of my life. And I keep it. I mean, for my own private pleasure.
Yeah, it's kind of like your journal, your scent journal.
Like the most, let's say, intimate and inner page of my diary, you know?
That's so beautiful. I love this idea.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, very personal and intimate memories,
Yeah. Do you share these perfumes with the people who inspired them? Do they wear them?
Not always, always. I mean, sometimes I think I have the possibility and the confidence to do it, and some other times I just keep it for myself.
Yeah, it's kind of like your sketch of that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about how this all started. Have you always been into perfume, even as a little kid?
Well, let's say that I've always been so fascinated and passionate about fragrances since I was like a little child.
Yeah.
I've always thought that fragrances are really a trigger, an emotional trigger.
Yeah.
In a good way or in a bad way, when you smell fragrance, you are transported instantly to a place or to a memory of your life or an experience, and that's why I've always thought that the perfumes are magic, pure magic.
Yeah.
So let's say that growing up, I decided to think about fragrances as a real passion and something that could truly express my creativity.
Yeah.
I've always been such a very creative child. When I was 8 or 7 years old, I used to play music, create music, songs, also paintings. And when I first approached perfumeries, fragrances, I started thinking about every single note, every single ingredient as a color or as a note to be coded to create something very different, new, and creative.
Yeah. So some synesthesia.
Yeah, it's like a synesthesia. And that was like another possible way to express my own creativity with the art of fine fragrances. But that was very difficult because when I was a child and when I was adolescent, it was barely impossible to access any kind of information. Now, nowadays, if you open the Google or the website, you can easily access every single information or not every single information, but a lot of information. You can gather a lot of information
for sure
about perfumeries, about ingredients. Some books, some chemistry books are also available online.
Yeah.
So nowadays it's very easy, or it is much easier. But if you think about 20 years ago,
definitely.
It was totally a different world.
It's like I said, it's a field shrouded in mystery.
Absolutely.
And we think of classical French perfume. A lot of perfumers come from perfume families. A lot of them come from Grasse, or this area of southern France. So it's almost like they were destined to become perfumers. But if you're not born into that, how do you approach it? How do you get an in?
Not at all. Yeah. It's been like a case, almost like I say it like a case, because it was during a vacation, during a holiday with my family in the French Riviera, and we've been exploring the beaches, the villages, the medieval cities, and one day, by case, we had an overcasted sky, and it was raining, and we decided to quit the beach and exploring the laboratories in Grasse, in the capital of perfumery, And
how old were you when this happened?
I'm 34 years old. I'm 34 years old when I first explored the Grasse capital of perfumes.
When you went into
I
these
was
labs.
8 years old. I was like
you were
a little
8.
child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was 8 years old. Yeah. So when we first entered in the first perfumery factory in Grasse, I was completely astonished.
Yeah.
Like I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
What's that? I
Magic.
mean, there was a perfumer, actually there was a nose explaining to us how to create, how to combine several ingredients between, molecules, natural oils, isolates, all the ingredients that you need to formulate fragrances. And, most of the people, they don't understand what is the creative process, you know. But basically, it's really like a job of art. It's like a job of art. It's like a painting. You start choosing carefully all the colors that you need, to represent your inspiration. And that's the same thing happening with the perfumery. So the nose actually was explaining to us, this perfumer was explaining to us that more than 6,000 ingredients are existing to create fragrances. So imagine being an artist with more than 6,000 colors.
That's a lot of colors in your paint box.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. And that sounds to me like a magic, like a pure magic. And that was the moment when I started thinking about being a perfumer, being a nose as a professional future.
Right. So this was at 8 years of age that you thought I could become a perfumer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And since that time, I've been very determined. I had this relentless belief in myself that I really wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to become a perfumer, and I wanted to be independent. I wanted to have my own brand. I know it sounds a little absurd or unreal because I was a child, but that was really like a very powerful trigger to me.
And you stuck with this plan. That's kind of incredible.
Yeah. Well, it's been not so easy as you can imagine.
Yeah, which we want to hear about, of course.
Yeah. I mean, when I arrived in the French Riviera and I was 18, so it was 10 years later. Yeah. 10 years later, I started sending the applications for the Grasse Institute of Perfumeries, which was one of the most prestigious and exclusive school in the world, along with the ZIPCA in Paris. So it was not easy to pass all the tests because there are 7 to 10 tests to do. I mean, 7 to 10 tests to process.
Right.
And after that, I finally got my positive result, and I've been able to enter and start the apprentice to become a nose. So then I started the apprentice and all the path to educate the nose to the olfactory culture.
Yeah.
And after 3 years and a half, more or less, I came back to Italy and I decided to launch and found my own brand and being an independent perfumer.
Yeah. So the apprenticeship was also in France. Was that connected to the Grasse Institute?
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it was a 3 years, almost 4 years apprentice.
Yeah. Was your training in Grasse was it kind of how you expected it, or were there big surprises during those 3 years?
Yeah, well, it was quite challenging because there were absolutely people from all around the world, mainly from Europe in a real thing. But yeah, I mean, there were people around the whole Europe and the world, and I spent days smelling a single ingredient and the development. And how it changed from the morning till the evening time. Wow. If you take, for example, like a regular lemon oil, natural oil, and you smell it like from the opening till the time then it go burned, let's say, it's very different because at first it smelled very sparkling, effervescent, and very natural.
Yeah.
Very close to the real fruit.
Yeah.
But as the oil unfolds and the evolution goes on, I mean, you can definitely smell a more floral and metallic aspect. So as a perfumer, you got to know every single phase of the oil. And also, it's been such an incredible experience because you can truly understand how the raw materials are cultivated, the harvest, how the climate change is crucial for the harvest.
Yeah.
You know? So a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're back in Italy and you start your brand right away?
Yeah, well, few years later.
Yeah.
Few years later, yeah. I was 24 years old. When I first launched the brand, and I was probably the youngest nose in the world, for sure in Italy.
Yes.
For sure in Italy. But in the world, I think also in the world.
Yeah. What were your ideas in starting the brand? What did you want this brand to accomplish? Was there a specific point of view that you thought was specifically Simone Andreoli?
You know, the brand, as you know, has my name, Simone Andreoli, and it's followed by Diario Olfattivo. So Simone Andreoli has one name, one artist behind each fragrance. And it's followed by Diario Olfattivo because Diario Olfattivo is like the olfactory diary. It's like a travel journal. And it really conveys my real, genuine passion for the art of traveling.
Yes.
I have a nomadic soul. I have a nomadic spirit, the spirit of adventure. So I decided to tell scented stories that could truly transport all our clients towards endless places, endless destinations in the world.
Yeah.
So the Diario Olfattivo is the inspirational credo of the whole collection. Basically, the brand talks about my personal memories, by my personal experiences around the world. So every single bottle of the collection, it's like a frame of life.
Yeah.
A moment of my life.
Yeah. As a perfumer, what do you think makes a perfume good? Because when you're creating something, there are going to be so many different versions. You're probably liking some perfumes that you've created more than others. Some maybe, I mean, I'm just talking from myself as an artist that
But
I think...
what is good?
What is good?
What
That's what
is
I'm
good?
asking you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, to me, good is when behind a fragrance, there's a real inspirational content. So there's quality of inspiration.
Okay.
And artistry, and of course the raw materials.
Yeah.
The raw materials. And since, I mean, our brand is quite unique, you know, I'm the creative director and I'm the nose as well. So we don't need to hire external people to formulate and to interpret my own feelings and inspirations. So that's a faster process, and it's also more authorial, you know, more special.
Yeah.
It's not only about the content and the raw materials, it's just about the instinctive. You got to be very instinctive. It's like an impulse. I know when it's done, when I smell it, and when it triggers something powerful into me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like pure instinct.
Yeah.
I start formulating according to my inspirations. You know, I usually get inspired by traveling, and I see a picture, like a very powerful one.
Yeah.
And then I start thinking how to describe this powerful image with the art of fragrances.
Yeah.
And I start combining, I start formulating, and then the things comes very naturally, in my opinion. And when the fragrance is accomplished, I mean, it's just pure instinct. I smell it and I say, yes, that's my formula. You're back at that place. It's the correct picture of that place. So we have 4 of your fragrances here. These are all very popular at the store. There's Sunplosion, which is inspired by Hawaii. Yeah. There's Malibu Party in the Bay. Malibu is just down the road. California. Yeah. We've got Tulum, which is the newest release.
any of these, can you tell us the story behind?
Of course, with pleasure.
Yeah.
They're all different journeys. They're all different stories. I was talking about Tulum Junglescape, the newness joining the collection.
Yeah.
It is really a scent inspired by the lush tropical vegetation in the Yucatan.
Yeah.
So when you spray this fragrance and you close your eyes, you're transported into a jungle path, alive with the scent of the nature. You can definitely smell a sparkling margarita opening, the composition and set you on a laid-back mood.
Yeah.
As the fragrance unfolds, it reveals scents of tiare and ylang-ylang, so creamy, very fruity and creamy flowers. The tropical fruits impart a very colorful aspects to the fragrance, while the green tea notes evoke this incredible fluorescent green as the lush verdant foliage of wild plants and untamed vegetation covering the whole Tulum area.
Yeah.
So this is really a scent evoking the olfactory atmosphere of a tropical jungle overlooking the Caribbean Sea of Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Tulum.
I have not.
It's such a stunning destination.
Yeah.
It's a daydream. It's actually a daydream.
Yeah.
You can be really, you can feel yourself sheltered by the jungle.
Yeah.
And at the end of the path, you can definitely see this blue window overlooking the Caribbean Sea. It's quite a unique place. It's the only Mayan site built on a cliff overlooking the sea.
Yeah.
It's the only one in the world. I mean, it's dramatic for how beautiful it is.
Certainly, the lush vegetation comes through so clearly, and those fruits, definitely. But you know what I love in this is that salt. It smells like your skin after you come out of salt water and you just bake in the sun.
Right.
And that salt is just a beautiful film over your skin. I feel that that's in this fragrance.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. The opening is really with sea salts, mint, and a blast of lime. They refresh the composition. It's really like a blast of freshness opening the scent.
Yeah.
And then as the time passes, you get more into the creamy aspects and the fruity undertones. I think this is a next level of tropical scent.
Yeah.
It's quite innovative and very unique.
Yeah.
My fragrances, they are very well known in the world for being tropical, for being exotic. They have this young, wild, and free DNA. And this is something completely different from what I did in past, but with the same DNA, with the same fil rouge.
Yeah, definitely. I can smell that. I can attest to it. I think what's different between this and, let's say, Sunplosion is its depth.
Yeah.
Of course, there's that fruit, but I feel that there's something so strong anchoring this into the ground, and it's salt maybe. Is there some patchouli in the fragrance?
Yeah, there's some patchouli and vetiver.
Yeah.
They, of course, ground the composition, and but the key ingredient that triggers me a lot is the green tea.
Yes.
Because it's so refreshing, very organic, and kind of mineral.
Yeah.
And in a kind of way, it really instills in my mind the feeling of this green, lush vegetation covering the Yucatan.
Yeah. I didn't think of that, but you're absolutely right. That's one of the aspects of the green tea smell. It's vegetal quality.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great. I just contrasted it to Sunplosion. This is so fun. This is just fun in a bottle.
That's a fragrance putting a smile on your face. That puts you, it's a fragrance making you smile.
Yeah.
It sets you on a positive mood.
Yeah.
It's a very uplifting scent.
Yeah. So you spent some time in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, a lot. It was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was a long time ago. too long.
Yeah.
I need to come back.
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to come
yeah.
back and get inspired again. Yeah, but that's a very delicious scent. I really love it because it's super fruity
Yeah.
and very refreshing
Yeah.
at once. Simplosion is my interpretation embodying the sun of Hawaii in a
Yeah.
fragrance.
Yeah.
It's a super, super sparkling scent with this ripe pulp of mango,
Yeah.
refreshed by lime, orange, and guava.
Yeah.
I love it. And the hibiscus flowers, along with an overdose of ambrox, they instill like an olfactory feeling, an olfactory dimension, which is very similar to this sun-kissed effect.
Yeah. That's there.
Like
And
when you spend a lot of time at the beach and you're all your body is covered with this sun, very refined sun lotion.
Yeah, yeah.
And after a day, you smell your skin and it smells so good.
Yeah. That's how relaxing is that feeling after spending some time in the sun on the beach?
Tell me. It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, I'm a beach man.
Well, I could
so
tell from your
tell.
fragrances that you're a beach man. A lot of them have smells of ocean or tropical fruits, tropical flowers.
Right.
So are these your favorite inspirational destinations?
Well, I'm very much inspired by the beach and the ocean places. That's my environment. You know, the sea and the ocean are the places where I reconnect with myself.
Okay.
It's really like a personal shelter.
Yeah.
When I need to relax, when I need to unplug from the rest of the world, I mean, ocean is my haven.
Right.
So that's the place where I collected a lot of inspirations.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean, California, Italy, also all the islands in the Mediterranean archipel. I mean, that's truly inspiring to me.
Yeah. Did you grow up close to the water?
Unfortunately not.
No. Okay. So
Probably it's because I didn't have...
you were denied that as a child, so
right.
you're trying to get it back.
And that's why I crave it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Definitely. This one is different to the other ones. First of all, it's
Which
a black
one?
bottle.
Weissbaum.
This is
Okay.
Weissbaum.
Yeah.
And I feel that the inspirations might be a little bit different with this one. Talk us through the black bottles. Why are they this color?
That's part of the Poetry of Night collection.
Okay.
Poetry of Night is a chapter of this Diario Olfattivo that is more dedicated into the time of night, into the time of seduction, introspections, but definitely the time to indulge.
Yes.
To indulge into real powerful feeling.
Right. Indulgent nighttime scents.
Right. And Weissbaum is about vice.
Yeah.
Is about vice your soul.
Yeah.
Spoil your soul. You know, it's a game of provocations and flirting in Miami Beach, in the glamorous clubs in Miami Beach.
Okay. So
A lot of US inspirations. Yeah, I know.
yeah. So inspired by Miami.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Of
So-
course, Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Putting two and two together. It took me a little while.
I'm
yeah.
from the 90s, you know?
So I'm getting cherry.
Yes, it's an intoxicating dark cherry,
Yeah.
sinking in pink sugar, tender, creamy vanilla, and the most amazing carnal flower that you might think, ylang ylang,
Oh, yes.
which is so sexy. I love it.
Oh, this is incredible.
Yeah, and I think it's a scent to discover, because after the first 15 to 20 minutes, I mean, you can definitely, at the first smell, you can definitely say that it's a gourmand. You know, it's very creamy,
Yes.
it's very sweet, but after 15 to 20 minutes, it turns into a very sexy and seductive scent.
Yeah.
It turns into a more liquorous, more woody, more flowery fragrance.
Oh.
That's why I always say that it's like a playful but very seductive scent.
Yeah. I have sold this to many people in the stores, and I'm finding that it's equally popular among men and women. And you would think, because we're talking about ylang ylang, tropical flowers, tropical fruits, these are notes that a lot of people would associate with more feminine fragrances. But I would not say that your fragrances are meant more for women than for men. I think it's 50-50. And
Absolutely. I think they are just genderless,
I think so too. I feel that what the fragrances do is just make the wearer feel a certain way. So it puts you into a mindset. Maybe it really does let them enter the picture that you're describing of this place.
Right.
And I feel that that's the point of it. It's not about like being feminine, about being masculine. It's just about maybe escape and visiting a place.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just to express your own identity, your own personality. I think fragrances are just the expression of your attitude.
Yeah.
So when you have the right attitude, you can wear flowers, you can wear fruits, and if you wanna tell to the world how you are, you can be as you want.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We had perfumer Ashley Eden-Kessler on this podcast, and one thing that she said was, your skin is just as much an ingredient of the perfume as the ambroxan, as the jasmine. And that's true. And I'm going to say it's more than just your skin. It's yourself, your identity. That's part of this scent.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
That's totally true. And with the right attitude, you can really wear whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of your fragrances, do you have a favorite, or at least is there one that you wear more than the others?
I usually wear Samplosion because it's my favorite tropical fragrance within the collection. And that's a fragrance that I wear usually on spring and summertime because it's so refreshing, very juicy. And if I close my eyes, I'm stuck in a golden sand beach with these turquoise waters, massive waves, surfers. That's my environment, And the other one that I wear the most is Ocean of a Midnight Moon.
Okay.
Ocean of a Midnight Moon, it's a fragrance that I created in almost 2 years of creative process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was quite a challenge. And it's a fragrance that it's built around 130 ingredients, truly embodying the majestic strength of the sea. And it's profound poetry in the nighttime. It's really like you are in front of the ocean at midnight with your gin tonic on your hand. And you're just contemplating how strong it is, how timeless is the ocean.
Yeah.
Ocean is really the place cherishing words and thoughts and a lot of life.
That's an incredibly complex notion. And 130 notes is going to make a fragrance a very complex scent.
Very complex. And every time I describe Ocean of a Midnight Moon, I always say that it has 3 phases. The first one, which is so refreshing and invigorating with the sea salts, sea water, accord, along with the aromatic undertones. And that provides you like a blast of freshness, like a mineral freshness, as much as the white foam of a wave crashing over you. And the second phase is more into a woody, resinous phase, and it's more aromatic. And that's the dark dimension, the dark environment, and the Mediterranean vegetation. And the ultimate, the last phase is about the abyss, it's about leather, it's about driftwood. So that takes you inside into the water, into the dark waters, where you can dive with no lights and you are just exploring the unknown.
That is incredible. That's why I love wearing fragrances that have so many notes, because as we know, a lot of contemporary fragrances now might have 20 notes, 30 notes. So to go over 100, but I'm finding these fragrances are so special because the story that they tell on your skin over time is so multifaceted.
Correct.
The way it starts in the first 20 minutes of the fragrance might not have anything to do with how it'll smell in 2 hours from that point. It is a journey of a scent.
It is a journey. That's how a fragrance has something to tell.
Yeah.
That's a real scented story. That's a scented tale.
Yeah.
So when you have a very complex fragrance, you can wear it and start a discovering process on your skin.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's like really unfolding a secret book.
Yeah.
On your skin.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
And yeah, as you said, nowadays most of the fragrances created are formulated with 20 to 30 ingredients.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sometimes you
that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need. I mean, you need something very casual or easy to wear. But most of the time I see nowadays brands formulate fragrances just because they really need to launch newness or new products or something without a soul, without a real inspiration. And in my opinion, it's always very important to have very, very inspirational content behind the fragrance.
Yeah.
And when you structure the fragrance around the inspiration, you can definitely give a more complex experience and refined experience to the clients and to all our fragrance fans.
Absolutely. As the founder of your brand, as well as the perfumer, you've been at this for quite a while now, so I bet the landscape has changed, probably from the beginning to right now. How would you say it's changed? What are the major differences?
I launched the brand 11 years ago. The industry changed significantly, especially after the pandemic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about how we are currently communicating perfumes, fragrances, after 2020, after the pandemic, the advent of the digital communication, I mean, it's been massive.
Yeah.
It's been massive. I mean, now there are a lot of influencers talking about fragrances, and they are so powerful in delivering the message. Whatever it is, good or bad, I don't know.
Right.
It really depends on the subject,
Yeah.
There are faces that are really, really highly communicating. But that's just a first aspect, So the communication changed a lot. If we are thinking about 11 years ago, we didn't have such a big means of communication.
No.
And digital is one big point.
Yeah.
After that, I must say that there are a lot of brands and new brands always coming and jumping into the market.
Yeah.
Which could be good for the final consumers, but I doubt it. I doubt it's good because sometimes the overcrowd of the offer can create a lot of mess and confusions. I see. If you think about Essence, the most important exhibition in the world of perfumery
in Milan every year.
Yeah, every year they increase every year the space of the exhibitors.
Yeah.
The last edition, 2025, was 400 exhibitors just for the fragrance department.
It can be very overwhelming, just the amount of newness. It's exciting but overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. And if you walk through the lanes, I mean, I had a chance, like a quick chance, because I was very busy in terms of schedule. But I spoke with a lot of people in the new industry, launching a brand, launching fragrances and products with no inspiration, with no contents, with no values. So if we're talking about fine perfumery, artistic fragrances, we have to be aware that a fragrance should have an inspirational and artistic content at the base.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about raw materials, ingredients, oils, whatever.
Yeah.
But that should be a real inspiration behind.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a business product.
Right. It has to come from somewhere real.
It has to
You
have
can
a
smell
soul.
the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would imagine because of this explosion with so many more people in this field, that makes competition that much more intense.
Absolutely.
And the amount of promotion that you have to do with your brand is probably more than it's ever been, just to keep people interested, because there are influencers who might, with the change of the wind, decide to promote a different brand suddenly, and then all eyes are on that one. So how do you stay in the conversation? That must be the big challenge.
It is a big challenge. The main point, the key point to me is always stay true to yourself and be very coherent to your vision.
Yes.
To stay true to your vision.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And after that, we can't ignore how the industry evolved in terms of communication, in terms of the influencing, in the influencing communication. But again, in the market is very wide. The audience increased significantly, and there's a part of this market following the influencers.
Yeah.
So the rest of the market is following other kind and type of communications.
Yeah.
So it's not everything there.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone is influenced by digital influencers.
For sure. Absolutely not.
They go to the perfumery. They are still into the in-store experience.
Yeah.
They're still into events and get to know the nose and the creative behind brands.
Yeah.
And I think there are still people more interested in stories, in a different sensorial approach to this kind of
That's
products.
a really good point to make, because, of course, influencer culture gets a lot of attention, and people like to talk about that and about these huge trends that go viral and these fragrances that suddenly go viral. But they don't appeal to everyone. It's a very specific market that they're appealing to.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who've been into fragrance way before 2020, before influencers started emerging, and they're still interested in perfume. So we have so many different kinds of people coming in. They're all attracted to different things. But sure, of course, influencer, social media has changed the landscape a lot.
It's a thing.
Of course, but it's not everything.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's not everything.
It's not everything. Yeah.
So there are people very attracted by the influencers, and sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes they step into the shop, they ask for some fragrances, and they found out that it's not their fragrance.
Exactly. Happens all the time. All the time. We love it because it brings them in. And then we can help them with their own personal journey, because you don't know if your taste is going to be the same as someone who's talking about something on TikTok, you know?
Exactly.
You'll have an idea of how it might smell, but when you actually smell it, it might not be that at all, which is okay, because we can put them into a different direction.
Yeah, it might be just not matching to your identity and to what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's another topic. The real and significant importance of the store's role into the communication of perfumes.
Yeah.
This is a very slow way of building the brand and building the awareness, you know. But in my opinion, it's what it takes a lot of time to build up a brand identity with the stores, in the physical stores, with the consultations, with the private and sensorial experiences. But on the other way, it's the way, I don't know how to say it.
I know what you're getting at. I feel it's the same. I feel that stores are very important because the communication goes both ways. With social media, someone's going to say something about a perfume. In your mind, you'll start using your imagination, but it's not a dialogue. You're not talking back to the person with this opinion. In a store, you can actually have a conversation. You can smell something together and actually get to the heart of what it is that you want and what you're attracted to, and whether or not this fragrance is fulfilling that. So I'm 100% into the in real life experience. But what's happened is a lot of stores have closed. They're in the process of closing. Retail has changed around the world so much. I'd like to think that maybe these pockets of retail, of in real life communication, will start to flourish again because there's a need for it.
I think so.
Is that why you go to so many of these different stores around the world and do the events, because you want to be part of this communication?
I want to support all our, dealers and all our partners in the communication of our brands, of our fragrances, and especially in the word, in the passion of niche perfumers.
Yeah.
So that's really, really important,
Yeah. I mean, perfume is about storytelling, so it's best to hear it from the author's mouth, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And we have so many fans in the world that are willing to get to know more in detail, the stories and the perfumer itself.
Yeah.
They are absolutely thrilled about asking questions, know more about, their favorite fragrance. It's for me, it's really like a real and genuine pleasure. Because it's not about the performance and get to know the people. It's also about strengthen up the relationship with our partners.
Yeah.
And they deliver our message. Yeah. They are our expression,
That's true. It's incredibly helpful when someone from the brand comes, especially someone who is behind the creative process and not really just telling something from a script of what they've been told to tell about the brand. You can tell when the story is actually coming from somewhere deep within a person. Yeah. And when we connect with that, we can tell that story so much better.
Absolutely. I deliver to you a frame of my life. That inspired most of my fragrances. All my fragrances. And you deliver these scented tales to your clients.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how we create connections, really powerful connections.
Yeah, that's great. And it's great for us because we get to meet incredible people like yourself.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Stephen.
Now, you are born and bred in Italy. Would you say, being Italian, do you have an approach to perfume that you think is specifically Italian, or are you outside of that? Because it has a very long established tradition and history, Italian perfumery. Yeah. So do you feel that you're part of that?
No, I don't think so. No, I have my own style. Yeah. I'm very modern, very contemporary with this young, wild and free DNA, but with a Italian heritage, with the Italian craftsmanship. Yeah. That's what I preserved, you know? But for the rest, my inspirations, my approach to perfumery is absolutely contemporary. Yeah. And it's just out of the box. If you look at most of the Italian brands, they, of course, put a spotlight on their traditions, on their history. I don't have that. Yeah. I don't have that. My background is something that I built on my own, traveling the world. So I have a very international approach with an Italian heritage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, and it comes through, obviously. This free spirit, this thrill of adventure definitely comes through in the fragrances.
Thank you.
What do you see for the future? What do you have planned for the brand? What's next?
Oh, we as a company, of course, I say we as a company, we are still investing very much in the creative process, in the research of new ingredients, new formulas, and in internationalizing the brand in the world. Yeah. At the moment, I'm working on a lot of projects. I have new targets and a lot of new products as well.
Oh, really?
Coming, yeah. I'm studying so many fragrances because I'm very much inspired. As you might think, I'm traveling. I'm constantly traveling the world, so I collect a lot of inspirations.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm working on so many things. So you got to watch the space because
we will
there are so many things for the upcoming near future.
Oh, well, we are so excited about that. For right now, we're just going to put on Tulum Junglescape.
Absolutely.
get in that vibe, live in your fragrances, and see what's in the future. This has been so exciting, and I'm so happy to be able to really chat with you, get more insight into the brand, and I'm so glad you could carve out a little bit of time to do this.
For me, it's such an immense pleasure, Stephen. You know how much I love you, and I'm in love with California. This is really my environment. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I think you're more of a California boy than I am, to be honest. So that's pretty great. Thank you so much for watching. In this podcast, we hope to have more perfumers like Simone Andreoli, and also we're going to have other people from the Lucky Scent and Scent Bar team just weighing in on their experiences, talking about their favorite fragrances, talking about trends and what we can expect in the future. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.